Have you got an alarm system at home? Or at your office? But do you know which brand it is? There's a good chance it's our system. Yes, it's possible that Satel takes care of your security. It's about time we got to know each other better. Today, you're invited to visit us. I'll show you Satel from behind the scenes and what our work is all about. We are the largest manufacturer of alarm systems in Poland. Our head office is in Gdańsk, and here happens everything, from the concept and design of our devices, both electronics and enclosures, then the development of apps and all the software to operate the system, ending with production. We've been on the market for 35 years. We develop high-tech devices that protect people and their property. Homes, companies, hotels, offices, schools, banks, and other institutions. Not only in Poland, but also in over 70 countries around the world. You already know that we make alarm systems. But that's not all. Our operations can be divided into 4 sectors. The already mentioned intruder alarm systems, but except that also access control systems, fire alarm systems, and automation systems. You already know what we make, and now I'll show you what such a production process looks like. Ready for a tour of Satel headquarters? Follow me. Behind every successful product stands a good idea and even better execution. Our ideas arise from, for example, your needs. We listen to you, analyze trends, research the market, and this is how a concept is born, which we then turn into actual devices. How does an idea emerge? Believe me, it's a complex process involving a lot of smart people representing different departments within our company, including design, technical and training, testing, software development, production, research, sales, and marketing. Each device is developed in-house from start to finish, so it is 100% made in Poland, or more precisely, made in Gdańsk. We design both the external look of the product and its interior, that is, the electronics of the device, and develop its software. Well, once the brainstorming is over, the idea has been formed and the main assumptions for the product established, almost simultaneous work in 3 areas begins: design of electronics, design of the enclosure, and software development. Naturally, before mass production begins, prototypes are prepared for each device. They pass through the same stages as the final product. These include thorough evaluation and sending them to external research institutions, where they are subjected to all examinations and assessments. Positive exam results give us confidence that our devices meet the necessary standards, are safe, and can be handed over to users without concern. Only then do we start the mass production process. However, one step at a time. Let's start from the beginning, namely the designing of electronics mentioned before. Here it is. Here, in the construction department, a project is developed. This is where takes place the process of creating schematic diagrams, drawing paths, and designing the layout of electronic components that will appear on the printed circuit board, expertly known as the PCB. The paths are electrical connections between individual components on the board. The construction department works closely with the team from next door, that is, the research department. The prototypes designed by the design department are tested on an ongoing basis in the research department's laboratory. Here we check, for example, the resistance and emissions of our devices, that is, whether they'll operate correctly even in the presence of various types of signal interference, and vice versa, whether their operation won't interfere with other devices around them. All the research conducted is of key importance in the development of the device. Owing to this, we can be sure that firstly, our products are safe and reliable, and secondly, they meet all the industry standards applicable in the countries where they are sold. As an interesting fact, let me tell you that our devices are several times more resistant to signal interference than, say, a smartphone or a fridge. At the same time, design work on the device's enclosure and software development is also underway. Both are of mega importance. Software is the soul of the device. It determines how the device will work and what functions it will perform. But nowadays, we are looking for products that are both practical and simply attractive. That's why the design of the enclosure is also an important part of the process of creating our devices. The external design involves the cooperation of two departments, marketing and the tooling department. Once this work is completed, the designers in the tooling department produce a special drawing, which then is sent next door to the other part of this department, namely the machine park. It is here that the molds are built, which are later used to produce plastic components that make up the enclosure of the device. That's what I'm talking about. We are now at the next stage of production, which is the plastics processing department, where the finished enclosure components are made. These machines are injection molding machines. The molds that were made in the previous department go right here. They are installed inside the machines, which are then filled with a special material known as granulate. Suitably programmed injection molding machines are started up, the plastic is mixed and melted, then injected in liquid form into the mold. The next stage is cooling, during which the plastic hardens and turns into a finished component of the enclosure. An interesting fact: we use single component and two component injection molding technologies. The latter are dedicated, among other things, to outdoor devices, as enclosures made using 2K technology offer greater durability, strength, and compactness. This will soon turn into complete electronic devices that are part of a larger system, maybe even the one installed in your home. Who knows? Okay, let's go on. Here we are. This is the production department. 100% of Satel's devices are manufactured here. But before the actual production begins, a very important piece of information. Just as every smartphone has a unique serial number, every Satel device has one. It's called MNI, and you can find it on the PCB I showed you before, which will eventually be located inside the device's enclosure. The MNI number is assigned to devices at the very beginning of the production process, right here. This number allows us to precisely identify which production batch a particular unit is from, which delivery the component used came from, and even which of our employees was involved in the production of the device in question. Let's go back to what is carried out in this part of our company. Our production process is highly automated. Take a look. This is one of our production lines. These are pick-and-place machines. Let's have a short look inside through the glass. The advanced technology and automation allows us not only to optimize production times, but also to ensure repeatability and the highest precision, eliminating factors that could affect the quality of the workmanship and, as a result, the performance of the device. A mesmerizing view, isn't it? We employ two assembly methods in the production process: SMT and THT technologies. 90% of our devices are made using the SMT technology, as this offers more automated and faster assembly. The abbreviation SMT stands for Surface Mount Technology. It consists in placing components and soldering them by special machines directly onto the surface of a printed circuit board. However, some devices require the use of THT, or through-hole technology. This involves threading some components through holes in a PCB and then soldering them onto it, either in a soldering machine or by hand. One of the steps in the device's manufacturing process is fitting them with dedicated software. Each device is also run and tested for proper operation. And here I want to stress one super important point. 100% of our devices are tested and subject to optical verification and functional checks. Yes, you heard it right, 100%. Basic visual verification is performed at each stage of assembly. In addition, all devices go through an automated optical inspection system known as AOI system. It takes place here. And that's not all. There are devices with components that aren't visible to the human eye or won't be detected by the IOA. For this verification of such devices, we use a special X-ray machine. Devices at various stages of manufacturing arrive here. We can even scan a completed product package in a box. Our team knows that here we build not only devices, but also trust and a sense of security. That is why the top quality is a priority for us. Most of our products bear the Satel logo on the inside of the device, on the electronic components, but there are a few device types on which, without opening them, you can quickly recognize whether the alarm in your premises has been manufactured by us. These are, for example, keypads. They've got the logo on their enclosure. This model has it right here. Of course, we also do the labeling in-house. See for yourself. This is what the laser printing machine looks like. Have you got an alarm system at home? Check your keypad. Perhaps you can find the Satel logo there. Let us know in the comments below the episode. We're really curious to know. Satel manufactures indoor and outdoor devices. Outdoor models are exposed to changing and often harsh weather conditions and therefore need to be specially protected. For this purpose, we use silicone, varnish, and resin. Here you can see how a specialist robotic arm applies silicone. Automation of this process has allowed us to maximize the repeatability, precision, and speed of the step. All this to ensure that our outdoor devices operate reliably, even in difficult and changeable weather conditions, including snow, rain, frost, or intense sunshine. We've arrived at the final assembly stage. Here, the process of packaging, or in other words, completion of the device, takes place. The enclosure is assembled and the other components of the kit are selected, such as mounting screws, batteries, instructions, and so on, and packed in the appropriate box. The final part of this stage of device production is the verification of product completion. When a device is ready and securely enclosed in a box, it goes to the warehouse where it waits to be dispatched. You can buy Satel devices from one of the 250 distribution points located throughout Poland and around the world. You can find your nearest distribution point in a few seconds by using the search engine on our satel.eu website under the Distribution tab. When it comes to installing our equipment and configuring the system, we recommend employing the professional installer. The distributor will certainly recommend someone to you. You can also ask a neighbor or other friend who already has such a system. Have you enjoyed the tour? Let us know in the comments if you'd like more videos like this, showing our work and equipment behind the scenes. Thank you very much for accompanying me today and see you next time. Bye!